What if I told you that one of the most talked about fan projects in Busan right now isn't being run by a major entertainment company, a global brand, or even BTS's agency? Instead, it's being powered by ordinary fans. Not celebrities. Not executives. Not paid marketers. Just dedicated supporters who decided to transform their admiration for Jimin into something so visible that thousands of people could experience it in real life. And the result is impossible to ignore. A bright yellow bus traveling through Busan, decorated entirely for Jimin and carrying a message that goes far beyond music. Today we're taking a closer look at the Ride With Jimin Bus, why it was created, who is actually behind it, how projects like this are funded, and why this yellow bus has become another example of the extraordinary influence of Jimin's global fandom. Before we get into the details, there is one thing many people misunderstand about this project. A lot of people see the name Jimin Apple Music Team and immediately assume Apple Music itself is involved. That's not actually the case. The Jimin Apple Music Team is not an official Apple department or corporate marketing division. It is a fan-organized group created by supporters who dedicate their time to promoting Jimin's solo music career and helping coordinate streaming efforts around the world. The team consists of volunteers who work behind the scenes, often spending countless hours organizing campaigns, tracking chart performance, creating streaming guides, sharing updates, and connecting fans across different countries. Most people never see this work happening. They only see the final result. And the Ride With Jimin Bus is one of those results. The project is scheduled around Busan, the city that holds special significance in Jimin's story because it is where he grew up before becoming one of the most recognized performers in the world. Around BEXCO Main Stadium, the bus will operate on June 12th and June 13th, creating a moving celebration that allows fans to participate in the atmosphere surrounding Jimin-related events and activities. The project also includes routes connecting Busan Station and Cafe Jiminennial on June 11th and June 14th. For many visitors arriving in the city, this creates something much more meaningful than transportation. It turns a simple journey into part of the fan experience. Imagine arriving in Busan after traveling hundreds or even thousands of miles. You step outside the station and instead of immediately searching for directions, you find yourself standing beside a bright yellow bus dedicated to the artist who inspired your trip. Suddenly, you're not just visiting a city. You're participating in a shared moment with fans from around the world. That emotional connection is exactly why projects like this generate so much excitement. But perhaps the most fascinating part of the story isn't the bus itself. It's how projects like this become reality. Contrary to what some people believe, fan teams do not receive money from Apple Music streams. When listeners play Jimin's songs on streaming platforms, royalty payments go through official industry channels connected to rights holders and music companies. Fan teams do not receive a percentage of those earnings. In fact, the people organizing these projects are usually spending their own time without receiving any compensation at all. The bus, banners, promotional materials, and event support are typically funded through community donations made by fans who want to contribute to a shared goal. This is where another important aspect of fan culture comes into play: transparency. Large fan projects often involve supporters from multiple countries, which means trust becomes incredibly important. Reputable fan organizations generally use dedicated fundraising accounts that remain separate from personal finances. When a project is completed, many teams publish financial summaries showing how funds were used, including invoices, receipts, advertising costs, transportation expenses, and any remaining balance allocated to future projects. This level of accountability has become an important standard within major fandom communities because supporters want assurance that every contribution is being used exactly as promised. In many ways, managing a project like the Ride With Jimin Bus resembles coordinating a small business campaign. There are budgets to track, routes to organize, designs to approve, promotion schedules to manage, questions from fans to answer. And countless logistical details that must be handled before the first passenger ever steps onto the bus. What makes this remarkable is that most of the people involved are volunteers. They're not building careers from these projects. They're building memories. The slogan associated with the project captures this perfectly. Moments that shine even brighter because we're together. At first glance, it sounds like a simple message. But when you look at everything required to bring a project like this to life, those words carry much deeper meaning. The bus represents cooperation between thousands of people who may never meet one another. Different countries. Different languages. Different cultures. One shared purpose. Supporting an artist whose music has connected them in the first place. And that may be the real reason projects like the Ride with Jimin Bus continue to attract attention. They're not just advertisements. They're physical evidence of how modern fandom has evolved into a global community capable of creating experiences that extend far beyond streaming platforms and social media timelines. As the yellow bus moves through Busan, it carries more than passengers. It carries the effort of volunteers, the generosity of donors, the excitement of travelers, and the collective energy of fans who wanted to create something memorable together. Whether you're a longtime ARMY or simply someone curious about how fan communities operate, the Ride with Jimin Bus offers a fascinating glimpse into what can happen when thousands of people unite around a common passion. And in a world where most support happens through screens and digital interactions, seeing that support take physical form on the streets of Busan is something truly remarkable.